Hello and welcome to KMVC News. I'm Alonzo Williams. KMVC reported last week on Missouri Valley's students traveling to Kansas Speedway to work at the annual NASCAR race in a fundraising effort for Valley's sports teams. This week's KMVC Nick Fields has the details of a milestone that Viking athletics reached by working the event.
Fundraising is a critical part of small college athletic programs. After working the recent NASCAR race, Moval athletic programs have now surpassed a major milestone after all the years of working them.
Valley has made over $1 million, I know, as far as fundraising funds working NASCAR.
Gann says that the accomplishment took course over the 18 years that Viking Athletics has been working NASCAR events, and that it began with just a small group.
Valley started working at the track in 2001 when it opened. It was just the wrestling team, men's wrestling team, that first year.
Men's wrestling coach Mike Machholz was the person responsible for organizing the first Moval fundraising event at Kansas Speedway. He says there are several different ways that teams use their earnings.
It allows us to take a bigger bus, put more guys in motels, take them to different open tournaments, things along those lines. So it just helps us, all around as far as, competition. But we also are able to get some cool gear, and do some other things, buy a piece of equipment here or there, stuff like that. So over the course of those, what's now 18 years, there's a whole variety of things that it's been used for.
Both Gann and Machholz say that they are very proud of the accomplishment that Viking Athletics has reached from working at NASCAR. Nick Fields, KMVC News.
Valley students have two opportunities to work the events every year. This one in the fall and the second one in the late spring. Prison workers tend to be funny. At least one person in Wisconsin thought so. Missouri Valley's college English professor Claire Schmidt received Americo Paredes Prize. KMVC's Ruya Sakamoto reports on the award for her book about prison workers.
What the quote says, and then
The Missouri Valley College English professor Claire Schmidt received the 2019 Americo Paredes Prize. The American Folklore Society chose a winner on the basis of the overall impact of the nominees' engaged teaching and scholarship or the work in their own community and culture.
maybe like 2 weeks ago, I got an email, and I was just working at my desk, and I opened this email, and I thought it was just going to be like, hey, this person won, and they're like, you won. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and crying, and so shocked, and so touched. And, my students were I had students, outside, I had students meeting with me, and it was overwhelming.
The American Folklore Society gave Schmidt this award because of her book, If You Don't Laugh, You'll Cry. The book tells about the occupational humor of white Wisconsin prison workers. Many of her family members each have an experience of working in prison. She grew up by hearing their stories, and she felt something was wrong about prison workers between in media and in reality.
I chose the title because someone said that to me in almost every interview I did. People would say, well, you have to laugh at something. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. And so that phrase is, I think, a traditional part of speech for people who work in prisons when they're trying to talk about their work and trying to talk to outsiders about why they laugh the way they do, why they tell jokes in the way that they do. I think that it's very easy to make oversimplified statements about prison. Reality is much more complicated, and so listening to the stories of people's lived experience is a first step in thinking about how we might do a better job dealing with crime in the country.
Schmidt says the hardest thing in the process of writing her book was dealing with her own anxiety about inconveniencing people and hurting their feelings while she's interviewing. But she accomplished to give space for the people in the community to tell their stories. Ruya Sakamoto, KMVC News.
One of her book's readers is a prison librarian in Massachusetts. He sent an email to Schmidt suggesting working together on the research of folklore and joking that he had been collecting for years. Schmidt says it's been cool to build new collaborations out of this book. The Food Recovery Network at Missouri Valley is taking steps in the direction toward confronting the face of hunger in Marshall, Missouri. The first steps in Valley's Nonprofit Leadership Alliance is taking towards the goal of reducing waste. Missouri Valley's Assistant Professor of Nonprofit Leadership, Jamie Gold, has put together an event to try and solve a crucial hunger problem in Marshall.
The event is an ongoing event, actually, that we're doing. It's called Food Recovery Network, and we've started a chapter here at Missouri Valley College. It's one of many chapters on college campuses across the United States.
The group plans on doing the most that they can in any way for the community.
Our goal is to be able to pull food every single day. We'll pull it Monday through Friday at noon, and then we're working on that distribution piece, either freezing some of it. Some of it will immediately go to the Hoots House, which is a program for students here in Marshall and their families. Some will go to the Lighthouse Shelter when they are operational and have overnight clients at the shelter. So this will be something that is a long-term project and that we are looking to sustain, not just throughout this year, but in the years to come.
The NLA will continue to treat feeding the hungry as a necessity. Gold says this is an opportunity to address food insecurity in the area. She says that 1 family out of 7 families experience food insecurity at some time. Marshall's First United Methodist Church was looking for volunteers to help during the town's trunk or treat event at the square. And the Missouri Valley College Nonprofit Leadership Alliance was there to fill in those empty spots. 12 NL members spent 2 hours at First United Methodist Church to put smiles on local children. Parents and kids arrived at the church dressed up in costumes. Kids were given candy outside the church, and those who entered to join the fun received tickets to play several games and a chance to win prizes. Hot dogs, lemonade, and bags of goodies were handed inside of the half of the church. This is the 3rd year that NLA has been asked to be involved during the trunk or treat night. Men's soccer coach Vladimir Simic noticed his 20th win when the Vikings defeated Benedictine College on October 19th. KMVC's Anna Babiek reports on the success of coach's milestone in his career.
Will gather inside 18, works away, good pass, left foot back into the net.
Vladimir Simic is in his 17th season as head coach of the Missouri Valley men's soccer team. He has been named the Hart Coach of the Year 3 times and the National Soccer Coaches Association of America Regional Coach of the Year twice. He holds many different achievements from coaching at Missouri Valley, and he has another one to add to the list.
Winning 200 games in this conference is quite an accomplishment. Every game in our conference or in our schedule is very difficult. So we always play the toughest schedule that we can possibly play. So getting to that number is a good accomplishment. I mean, it gives me more motivation to work even harder and better for the future.
Mark Campbell was a 2-year starter for the Missouri Valley men's soccer team and is in his 3rd season as a coach. Campbell looks up to Simic as a mentor after transitioning from a player into an assistant coach for the program.
He's very passionate. He works very hard. He wants not just to win games, clearly, but wants to make the players a better person. Overall, he's always about improving the individuals and hopefully connecting as a team.
Simic gives credit to the work ethic of his current and past players who helped him put 200 wins on his record. Anna Babiak, KMVC News.
Simic has also brought the men's soccer team to the NAIA National Tournament Finals 2 years in a row. Missouri Valley's athletic department awarded Simic a plaque to commemorate the accomplishment during halftimes of Saturday's football game. The Missouri Valley College football team opened its Southern Division play in the Heart of America Conference with a 32-20 loss to Central Methodist. But KMVC's Chardonnay Parker reports one of the Missouri Valley players had a game for the record books.
Wayne Grant, he is their leading receiver. He had 36 receptions coming in for 308.
Wayne Grant, a name that goes down in the history books for the Missouri Valley College football team. Grant now holds the record for the most receptions in a single game. Grant caught 17 passes in a game against the Central Methodist Eagles.
I had to keep making plays. I feel like I had to keep making plays, and Jake kept finding me. So therefore, I never really knew that I had a record coming in at the end of the game because I was never focused on how many catches I had.
Grant is currently ranked number 2 in the nation in receptions per game and number 14 in the nation in total receiving yards per game.
We just found the hot hand. He came out making plays early, getting upfield, making blocks. So I was stressing to offensive coordinator, head coach that he's somebody we have to get the ball to. He's going to help us win.
Grant says he never looks for personal records. It always has been about the team wins. While he knows and acknowledges the records, he's just ready to compete in the next game and go out there and get a win. Chardonnay Parker, KMVC News.
Grant was also the leading receiver in Saturday's loss to Baker. He had 5 receptions for 101 yards in the losing effort. The leaves have changed. There is already a chill in the air, and winter sports is about to get underway. Missouri Valley's wrestling team finished second in the Heart of American Conference standings a year ago, and the Vikings enter this year trying to knock off perennial power Grandview. Missouri KMVC's Erica Moreno reports on men's wrestling team's start to the season.
Quick feet, in and out. Motion, lots of hard feet.
The men's wrestling team is preparing for the kickoff their season on November 2nd at the CMU Open. Mike Machholz is the head men's wrestling coach. He says that they have a lot of new athletes on the team. However, they have to get used to the difference from 6-minute matches to 7.
This first one will be kind of eye-opening for a lot of the new guys, especially because their first bit of college wrestling. The 7 minutes versus 6 minutes in high school is a big difference. So that 3-minute first period sometimes, that takes a bit of adjustment. So.
The returners have much more specific things to work on, like a certain kind of finish, or how to hold their hands or run their feet. Seth Johnson is a returner who is moving up a weight class, and he is working on various things in order to dominate this upcoming season.
I'm working on moving my feet more, moving my opponent more. But compared to last year where I was all one-dimensional and just 1 or 2 setups, I'm working on moving my opponent more rather than just staying in front of them.
They have been working hard on and off the mat, and they can't wait to show the competition what the Vikings are all about. Erica Moreno, KMVC News.
The season goes all the way until March, highlighted by the Missouri Valley Invitational in January, which many of the top NAIA schools use as a tune-up for the national tournament. Student athlete DeMarcus Nunnally is a senior on the Missouri Valley men's cross-country team and is the lead runner this season. Nunnally has been part of the program since his freshman year, and KMVC's Scott Beasley reports Nunnally is working hard to be an All-American cross-country runner during his senior season.
1, 2, 3, DeMarcus Nunnally is a part of the Missouri Valley men's cross-country team. This is his senior year, and he has been leading the Missouri Valley cross-country team.
I think he ran really well. I think obviously he's going to continue to do better. We got 2 weeks, like I said, to keep training, but then we also have the conference meet, and that's where usually people show up, and he's a showman. So hopefully, that day he comes out, shows up, and does something really well for us.
Coach Boren says that DeMarcus is still in a big training plan, and they plan to back off so that he can be ready for conference.
I think he ran well. I didn't think he ran the best race of his life. In fact, I know that he didn't, but we were just running for time, and sometimes it's difficult to find motivation just to run for time. He's got a lot more in the tank too, and hopefully we'll pull that out in 2 weeks at the conference meet.
My pace was to go sub 5:05 for a mile and end up running like 2 seconds slower than that and running 25:30. I go for the rest of the season just to go beast mode. And like conference coming up, so I run as hard as I can. And I got nationals. My goal is All-American. I like the course. It was amazing.
DeMarcus and the Missouri Valley men's cross-country team will train until the Heart of America Conference meet November 9th, 2019 at Central Methodist University. Scott Beasley, KMVC News.
Nunnally is 2 weeks away from the Heart of America Conference meet and is wanting to take first in the meet so he can earn the automatic spot in the NAIA Cross Country National Meet hosted in Vancouver, Washington on November 22nd. The Repertory Dance Ensemble hit the road to see the road show of Taj Express, the Bollywood musical review at the Johnson County Community College in Lenexa, Kansas on October 25th. The review was in the Yardley Hall. The Missouri Valley students had a lot of fun watching the performance. At times, they even got up and danced while they were cheering them on.
I think it's important for the students to see professional quality work. So every semester I take them to see some kind of show. And this year we came to see Taj Express, which is a Bollywood show and something different than they've ever seen before.
Columbia Artists bills the production as a high-energy celebration of India's pop music, Bollywood culture, and deep traditions featuring colorful costumes and joyful dance. That's KMVC News for this week. Thanks for watching. I'm Alonzo Williams.